Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before I get cut off by the gentleman from Nevada, if I talk too long, I will. No, I just wanted to extend an invitation to you, Madam Secretary, to come out to my district to visit the Spokane border sector as well as the Orville station and also inland Washington. But we have a Coast Guard navigation team in Kennewick, so
Fantastic.
as sharing border states. It would be a good thing for you to see. I just wanted to say one thing. The recent skinny budget proposed notable cuts to CISA, as you've heard many of my colleagues mention several times. I just wanted to mention that last summer and in March, I believe, CISA provided some farmers and ranchers in my district a briefing and training on protecting food from farm to table with cybersecurity and protective emphasis workshop. And I just wanted to encourage you to look at that. I think it was very well received, and I think it would be a good thing for a program to continue using. Let me ask about sanctuary jurisdictions. I believe state and local partnerships truly are important for the agents and the officers at DHS to execute their mission. How have sanctuary jurisdictions or state or municipal governments hindered the agency's mission to protect the homeland?
Well, I would say every day it is thwarting our efforts to be able to go out and help make our communities safe and secure. There have been times where we've gone out and targeted bad actors and criminals in communities that are guilty of rape, murder, violence, domestic abuse, drug trafficking, human trafficking. And when we've gone in to do those operations, we have not had the backup of local law enforcement. We've not able to have leaders that have walked alongside of us in support of securing their communities and been there for ICE agents that are out there putting their lives on the line to help secure and get these bad criminals off their streets. And those individuals are protecting them with their decisions, their political rhetoric. They're also filing lawsuits against us and the authorities that we're exercising to try to jam us up in court rather than giving us the opportunity to go out there and really follow through on what our commitment has been to this country. So the sanctuary jurisdictions have been fighting this administration in trying to do what the American people asked President Trump to do in November, and that was to make their communities safe again. I will tell you that when I've been out on the front lines with many of these agents, when they've been doing operations in the early morning sweeping up criminals, they are doing the hard work, and many times in partnership with local law enforcement in cities. So we appreciate that partnership and where we can get it. In sanctuary cities, it becomes much more of an operation that has to have more people. We have to commit more ICE agents, more federal officers there because the local community has not, and the leadership there has not been supportive. And then also, I would say it makes it more dangerous. We have seen violence against our ICE officers go up over 300%. And I think that's because of the rhetoric out there by local mayors and governors who have, put out misinformation and perpetuated lies about law enforcement and what they're trying to do to help communities. I remember the morning I was in New York City, we were conducting ICE operations on known criminals that were guilty of violent abuses and breaking the law. We had community members that were walking by on the street that were taking their kids to school, and when they would walk by, they would say, "Thank you. Thank you for being here." Yet their leadership was not there to support and back up our operations. So I would ask people in these communities to challenge their mayors, challenge their governors to come to the table and to help us, because I don't know of anybody who wanted to raise their kids in a community that was filled with criminals, where it wasn't safe to go out at night and where they couldn't walk their kids to school and not have to worry about if they were going to get there safely.
Thank you. I'm going to switch topics really quick in the short amount of time we have left. Tariffs.
Yes.
We both come from agricultural states. I fully recognize the importance of tariffs to help level the playing field and provide a fair opportunity for our producers to compete on world market. But I also remember in 2018 retaliatory tariffs on agricultural products, which felt the brunt of those efforts. Could you Could you talk just a little bit, if I could, without putting you, it's not a gotcha question, but I just wanted to express the concern that agriculture doesn't need any more challenges right now. Could you talk a little bit about some of the conversations maybe that you're having at the executive level about retaliation?
Yeah, thank you for that. I've worked on food policy for 30 years. So I not only am a farmer and a rancher, but I immediately started working on state and federal programs, and I recognized that our food policy in this country is a national security issue. And keeping farmers out on the land, producing our food, is imperative to making sure that we can feed ourselves, and another country doesn't control us by controlling our food supply. So President Trump recognizes this, and we've spoken for hours about the importance of having farmers here in this country growing our food and having many farmers, not allowing just one or two big companies or conglomerates control that supply, because it makes food affordable and available to every single American. The President Trump, if you remember back during that period of time, was there for farmers. He helped them with assistance when those retaliatory tariffs came into place. And he recognizes that this negotiation that we're having now with these countries has to happen to level the playing field. We've been treated unfairly in trade agreements for many, many years. When I was in Congress, I served on the Ways and Means Committee, which many people refer to as the committee that has the most ways it can be mean, because it has taxes and trade and tariffs and all the different jurisdictions as far as what can happen. But I would say specifically, working on trade agreements while I was there, I recognized how we could come to a trade agreement and facilitate that. But then we also would, as soon as our shipments of soybeans hit the shores of China, they would reject it for different sanctions or regulations such as sanitary or phytosanitary reasons, and would manipulate how they interpreted those agreements and didn't adhere to them anyways. So President Trump is all in to make sure that we rectify the wrongs of the past and make sure that we're treated fairly and get our jobs back home here in America. So far, CBP has collected over $32 billion worth of tariffs since April 2nd has gone into place. And they've adjusted and done that, and these countries are feeling the pain enough that they're coming to the table and having negotiations with this administration to make sure that we're treated fairly and our farmers and ranchers are treated fairly in the future.
Appreciate that, Mr. Chairman. I will yield back.